We got a lot to talk about on the channel tonight. But what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel, where we speak the truth, we are honest, and we give our takes on the Miami Dolphins. This is your host, of course, Joseph Conlon, talking about everything Miami Dolphins related. We got a lot, like I said in the intro, man. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Didn't do the post-game recap because I was at the game Sunday night. You guys saw the vlog, hopefully. If you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and check out the vlog this past Sunday at the Steelers-Dolphins Sunday night football game. I'm gonna have it up at the end of this video. In the last 20 seconds, it'll appear on the screen, and all you have to do is click on the video, and it's right there for you to go ahead and watch it and enjoy a nice 20-minute vlog. Also, be sure to go ahead and check out the Padres-Phillies NLCS vlog at Game 3. The Phillies clinching the World Series. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool stuff this weekend, man. Probably one of my favorite sporting weekends ever. It was awesome, and I'm so grateful for it. But we got to move on. It's a new week, and we're going to talk tonight. I want to talk about this game on Sunday, talk about my experience a little bit, which will probably be the first thing we talk about. Mike McDaniel, got some things to say on him, and then, of course, that Dolphins defense on Sunday night against the Steelers. So I guess it's kind of a short recap of the game Sunday, but not a post-game wrap-up where I'm talking about each drive, what went wrong, all that stuff. Oh, we'll get to the wrong for sure, but it's going to be in a different way tonight. And then finally, last thing at the end, we'll talk a little bit about the Lions game this week. Miami going down to Detroit to play the Detroit Lions in Week 8. We'll talk about that for a little bit before we get to the preview. More than likely, Thursday night. That's what I'm thinking, with the Phillies playing in the World Series on Friday. Why even film on Friday? Get it done Thursday night, and then I can worry about the Phillies on Friday. So, but if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. We do have some more Dolphins content coming up as the season moves forward. This week we're focused on the Detroit Lions, which we're going to talk about at the end of the video. And be sure to go ahead and check out the vlogs. Like I said, Padres, Phillies Game 3 NLCS, and then Steelers Dolphins on Sunday Night Football. So let's get into everything, man. First thing I want to talk about is my experience this weekend. Steelers Dolphins. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I got burnt really good this weekend. Driving up there, I went with my uncle. We took his car, and we kept the hood down of his Lamborghini car, and dumbass me thought, you know what, it's October, I don't need sunscreen, because I thought I was living in New Jersey. That was the mindset. Like, I thought I was living in New Jersey. Oh, I wouldn't need this, but no, I'm sitting outside with no roof in 85-degree weather. Not a good idea at all. Such a bad decision by me. But you know what? It is what it is. But that's the first thing that happened. It was incredible. I was shocked by a couple things. Number one, I was shocked by how beautiful the stadium was, and I'm just not saying that because, you know, I'm biased or anything. Hard Rock Stadium is a top 5 stadium in the NFL. It is so amazing. The outside, all the tailgates. I didn't know, you know, I didn't do the tailgates, but all the tents in the parking lot, and you know, outside, you know, you walk in and you're in the upper level, and you look outside at at the city of Miami, and tennis courts that are outside, and you got this huge tennis court right in between them. The Dolphins practice facility right across from the stadium. It was so cool to see the practice facility from the stadium, which was awesome. So seeing the tennis courts from outside, all the Dolphins fans out, the food trucks, it was really cool. The concession stands, really nice. Also, shout out to Dolphins Wi-Fi. Shout out to Hard Rock Stadium Wi-Fi. I would say that was probably the best Wi-Fi I've ever had going to a sporting event recently. There always gets trouble, for me, whether I'm going to the Amway Center to see the Magic, or I'm going to the Edition Financial Arena to watch AEW, which, their service is completely terrible with the internet. You don't even get service in that building. UCF, you really don't get service there either. It's so slow. Dolphins Hard Rock Stadium, their Wi-Fi was awesome. No problems at all, and it was super fast. So that was something new to see that I loved. But the final thing I was shocked by, the amount of Steelers fans that were there, man. Holy moly. I went with my uncle who was a Steelers fan, but my God, that place was packed with Pittsburgh Steelers fans. And in the fourth quarter, both of those drives, when they were marching down to score the go-ahead touchdown, it felt like a Pittsburgh home game. And I felt like for a little bit, I felt like I was at Heinz Field watching that game instead of Hard Rock Stadium. But, I underestimated it. I really didn't think that. I know Steelers fans travel well, but I didn't know there were that many Steelers fans that were going to be at the game. There were a ton. Their sideline was all Steelers fans. There were a couple Dolphin fans on their sideline, but on the Steelers sideline, all you saw were a bunch of terrible towels waving around on that sideline bench, which is unbelievable. But, I don't like them, but shout out to Steelers Nation, I guess, because they showed up and they showed out. But shout out to shout out to the Steelers in the first place. That was a very good game. They gave us a fight until the very end. They didn't roll over and die when they were losing 13-0 at the end of the first quarter, because I'm going to be honest with you, the Dolphins absolutely dominated the first quarter. I think that was probably the best first quarter I've seen from the Dolphins all season. They scored a touchdown against Buffalo. They scored a touchdown against Baltimore. But they were, that offense, I think I said it in the vlog, that offense was so good in the first quarter. They scored 3 times. They should have had more than they should have had 17 points going into the second quarter. They should have been up 17-0 over the Steelers. But that offense was so good in the first quarter and so efficient that I thought the Steelers were going to get 40-burgered. I thought the Dolphins were going to put up 40 points on the Steelers, and the Dolphins were going to be on their way to a blowout win. That wasn't the case at all. The Dolphins got an ugly win, 16-10, but a win's a win. I'm happy. Unlike other Dolphin fans in the community who are talking trash about Tua and just having terrible takes, it's just some Dolphin fans are ungrateful, man. This team was going through a 3-game losing skid without Tua, okay? Losing to Cincinnati on Thursday night, getting absolutely destroyed by the New York Jets, losing to the Vikings at home last week. Vikings are a good team, but Dolphins were very sloppy that game. So those were Those were 3 very tough games, and now we got Tua back, and I know Tua did not play his best game of the season. Tua did not play. I don't think Tua played terrible, but Tua was certainly rusty in the second half. I personally was more upset with Mike McDaniel's decision-making and Mike McDaniel's clock management than I was with the way Tua performed. And that's what I want to talk about first. I want to talk about this offense first, because after the first quarter, they got a field goal at halftime, and besides that, they were horrid in the second half, horrid to watch. First off, the first thing I'm going to mention, Mike McDaniel's decision to go for it on 4th and 3, up 6. If you kick the field goal, Pittsburgh's offense did nothing in the second half. You kick the field goal, you more than likely have a very good chance at winning this game, and you don't have to go through the stress that you did at the end of the game with your defense. But it was a bad decision. Now, I did see that Teron Armstead and Liam Eichenberg made a pretty solid hole for Chase Edmonds, and Edmonds missed the hole, and he ran up the middle instead, and he got absolutely swarmed by Cameron Hayward, and they missed the 4th down conversion. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care. I mean, you don't go for it in that situation. Even a little kid playing Madden would know. Okay, situation, second half, you're up 6, 4th down, you're in field goal range, you kick the field goal. You kick the field goal 10 times out of 10 to go up by 2 possessions, and Mike McDaniel decides to go for it, and not only did he go for it, but he ran the exact same play that he did before going for it on 4th down, which was a handoff to Chase Edmonds. It was bad. It was really bad. And speaking of Chase Edmonds, I mean, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. His running game is not impressive at all to me. And he can't catch. He can't catch the ball at all. Tua's getting the ball to him. How many targets did he have? He had 2 targets, and both of them were drops. One of them was on 3rd and 7. He catches the ball, he goes upfield. It's a 1st down, and he dropped the ball. He dropped a touchdown against Cincinnati. You know, he's having some problems catching the football. And until he improves, I don't think Chase Edmonds should get the ball as much as he did in the beginning of the season with games against the Patriots and the Ravens and the Bills and all that. He's just not doing a good job right now, and it's scary. It's scary, and every time he drops the ball, like, it's just like, get him out of the game. He stinks. But that's my little rant on Chase Edmonds. Hopefully he has a good game this week against the Lions. Mike McDaniel. So that's the first call. That's the first thing I didn't like, is that decision to go for it on 4th and 3. You're up 6. You kick the field goal. You go up 19-10. You're more than likely, you've got about a 70% chance of winning the game at that point. Second thing I didn't like from McDaniel at all, Javon Holland just picked off Kenny Pickett. Your defense makes a huge stand on 3rd down. You're at midfield, okay? It's 3rd and 6, and it's 3rd and 3. It's 3rd and 3. You just got 2 consecutive runs with Raheem Mostert, and you throw the ball. Why? Why are we throwing the ball in that situation, knowing that Pittsburgh called 2 straight timeouts after Raheem Mostert's runs? If you run the ball, even if you don't get it, they get less time than they did. They start at the 2-minute warning. And if he gets it, the game's over because Pittsburgh doesn't have any more timeouts to use. So that was just really a really bad call. And then even with the bad call on that, Tua forced the ball to Tyreek Hill on third down. Meanwhile, he had Hunter Long wide open, and if he got the ball to Hunter Long, game's over. So that bad play by Tua and a bad call by Mike McDaniel to throw the ball with 2:41 left, knowing that Pittsburgh has no timeouts, and if you run the ball, you're either killing more time or the game's over. So, not a fan of that decision. And then finally, clock management at the end of halftime. Clock management by Mike McDaniel was really bad. The Dolphins were really slow to getting up on the line, and Mike McDaniel's not calling timeouts. It's like you have 2 timeouts with 24 seconds and you're not using them, or he's not using them too fast, and then we have to do 10-second runoffs and all that. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, when you get the ball and the clock's running, you got to call timeout immediately to give your offense a breather and save 10 seconds that you're not doing. And I know he's a rookie head coach, and he's still probably trying to get that down, but that's something he's got to be better at, is time management before halftime, because luckily it didn't cost us this week, but luckily any of his decisions didn't cost us this week. But that can't slide with the next 4 weeks, because this team needs to win these next 4 games, because they're set up very nicely. It started this week with the Steelers. It started last week with the Steelers. It now continues this week with the Detroit Lions, and then next week with the Bears. We just got to keep winning. This team has to keep winning games. So, but the offense, it was really, it was really bad. It was horrid. After the first quarter, it was really bad to watch. Tua didn't play terrible. Tua went 21 for 35, 261 yards, and a touchdown. Now, it says something that, Tua, if people want to say this was his worst game of the year, I don't know. But with people saying, with Tua playing a bad game with those stat lines, that's pretty good, man. I mean, I'll take that if we get the wins and we survive with the W's. I just want the fan base to be happy, because they were, at least some of them were upset after the win, and I'm like, huh? We just got to win on Sunday Night Football on prime time, the 50th anniversary of the Miami Dolphins undefeated team, which, by the way, they gave commemorative tickets for it, which says 1972, undefeated, 50 seasons. And then it says Dolphins Steelers Sunday. That says the date on everything. It's so cool. It's going to be hanging up in my room very soon. It's really cool, and I'm glad I got one. I'm going to be hanging up that in my room, but, offense has to be better. And good on the Steelers for making adjustments after the first quarter, because they literally couldn't get stops. They had Tua throwing to Tyreek Hill for 15 yards, and then Waddle for 25 yards, and then Tyreek Hill for 16 yards. And the Dolphins were doing whatever they wanted to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first quarter. Steelers made adjustments. At the end of the first quarter, and I feel like after that, Dolphins really got nothing going besides that field goal at halftime. So, but they're lucky they're playing the Steelers this week, and the Steelers, they're not a great team, but you're not going to get away with 16 points come December. So, but that was the offense. I've one final thing I want to mention. Raheem Mostert, solidified him. I know there's going into the season, the Dolphins have two very good running backs with Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds. I think after this week, it's very clear Raheem Mostert is running back one. It's just his power running, the ability to find gaps. He went 16 rushes, 79 yards. He also got a receiving touchdown right in front of me. I was so proud of him. But 4.9 yards a carry. I mean, when's the last time we've had that from a Dolphins running back? When? Jay Ajayi? I don't know, man, but the way he's been playing the past couple of weeks, I love it. I love it, man. And he's, like I said, Raheem Mostert has solidified himself as the clear running back one for the Miami Dolphins, and he deserves it. He's better than Chase Edmonds, so. We talked about the offense. Let's talk about this defense. This defense was amazing on Sunday night. And I had doubts. The second quarter, they weren't good. They gave up a field goal, and then they let the Steelers march down on them to get a touchdown. George Pickens, first career touchdown. That guy's a beast. He is a freaking beast, man. And for the Steelers side of things, with the right play calling and the right offensive coordinator, I'm telling you right now, Kenny Pickett to George Pickens could be one of the best connections. Not next year, not this year, maybe not even in 2 years, but in the next, I'll say 2 to 4 years, this could be elevated to one of the top connections in the league, because he's awesome. He's a monster, and I don't care what anybody says. He's the best receiver on that team. He's better than Deontay Johnson, at least this season. So, but this Dolphins defense, besides the second quarter, was amazing. The Steelers, during the game, punt, interception, field goal, touchdown. So that was their first 4 drives. Second half, punt. Second half, they went 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, interception. So they had 3 and outs, 2 punts, and 2 interceptions when this team needed the defense most. And we'll get to the secondary in a little bit, because we had 3 healthy corners going into this game. That can't happen in the future. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But this defense played amazing. Jalen Phillips was awesome. His best game of the season by far. He had, where is he? There we go. Jalen Phillips had 4 tackles, 1.5 sacks. To open up the second half, he got Najee Harris for a loss of a couple yards, and then he sacks Kenny Pickett, and right out the gate, the Steelers are 3rd and 20. I freaking love that, man. He balled out Sunday night. He played great. Andrew Van Ginkel was all over the field for the Miami Dolphins, making big 3rd down tackles. 6 tackles. 6 tackles against the Steelers. Like I said, he was all over the field and helped the Dolphins big time on that defense. And then the secondary, man, everybody. Justin Bethel, interception after Claypool falls on his route. He didn't get pushed. He fell. Bethel caught the interception. Javon Holland comes up with a huge interception on 3rd and 16 with 4 minutes left. Xavier Howard is locking down Deontay Johnson all night while he wasn't shut out more than throughout the whole game. I thought Xavier Howard did a very good job covering Deontay Johnson. 5 catches for 42 yards. And then Noah Igbenogany with the play of the game. The play of a lifetime for this kid. Gets the game-winning interception to beat the Steelers on Sunday Night Football on the 50th anniversary of the Miami Dolphins undefeated team. Think about what Noah was going through in that moment before that play. He was lined up one-on-one with Deontay Johnson, and I knew that ball was going to Deontay Johnson. I knew from the get-go. Because Pickett was looking right over before the play started, and they picked on him the entire game before that. They picked on him the entire game. George Pickens got a 30-yard catch. Johnson got some catches. George Pickens got some more catches. He was covering Claypool a couple times, who got some catches. They picked on Noah Igbenogany all night. But there's always that one play that's going to decide the game. And that interception at the end of the game was that play. It was a bad throw by Kenny Pickett. He underthrew that ball. Noah with the foot tap was called out of bounds. I mean, I don't know, man. The official was standing right there, and he must be blinded because Noah's feet was inbounds. It was beautiful footwork by Noah, and the official called it out of bounds. They then watched it on the big screen. Clearly he was in, and freaking Noah Igbenogany, of all people, got the game-winning interception. And if you watch the cinematic recap on the Dolphins YouTube channel, I love what Xavier Howard told this kid after the game. He's like, just keep stepping, man. Just keep stepping. You can only go up from here. And imagine how much confidence that is for Noah Igbenogany. He's a third-year guy for the Miami Dolphins. And the Dolphins fan base hasn't been too nice to him. Rightfully so, because most of his Dolphins career, he's been trash. He's been terrible, letting up big play after big play after big play. He just hasn't been getting the job done, and he's been such a big bust for the Miami Dolphins for a first-round draft pick. Or a second round. I think it was a second-round draft pick. That's a bust. That's a really big bust. And I'm not going to give him all the credit. He made a great play. But now we need to see that. Hopefully he gets better. Hopefully he grows from that. Because with the Dolphins corner situation, man, we're going to need guys like Noah Igbenogany to step up. Justin Bethel to step up. I can't believe I'm saying this, but for rookies and Keon, we're going to need Keon Crossan and Kader Kohu to come back as soon as possible, man, because we need them for depth-wise. It sounds like Byron Jones is not coming back anytime soon. Nick Needham's out for the season. We now got concerned with safety because Brandon Jones got hurt really bad. He was on the ground for about 5 minutes, walked back really slowly, and for what I think, McDaniel said he's going on IR. He didn't say if he was out for the season. To me, it looked like an Achilles injury. He doesn't want to say it, but I do think Brandon Jones is going to be out for the season. That was really bad. And I'll admit, Clayton Fejedelem came in for his replacement. He didn't play terrible. He made a really big tackle on Najee Harris, 3rd and 1. Fejedelem with the blitz, and he tackles Najee Harris to get the 4th down stop. Big play by him. Big play. Excuse me. But now with our starters hurt, we're going to need guys like Noah Benogany, Justin Bethel, Clayton Fedulum. We need those guys to step up and fill the spots of, Byron and Nick Nito and Brandon Jones, who are nursing injuries. Now, I will say this. You can't have 3 healthy corners for an entire season. I mean, that you're not going to win with that at all. They're going to get tired way too fast. If the Miami Dolphins are serious about making a run to the playoffs this season, which, by the way, I think this team has the talent to go to the playoffs this year. If the Miami Dolphins organization is serious about a playoff run this year, at the trade deadline, they will go out and get a corner. They desperately need one. Go get Horn from Carolina. Go get Jackson from the Washington Commanders. There's a whole bunch of other solid corners out there. Go get yourself on a solid corner on a team that doesn't need it. Who's another one? I think Cleveland. It's rumored. Greedy Williams. It's rumored that Cleveland could be looking to shift. They could be looking to trade Kareem Hunt and Greedy Williams at the trade deadline. Go get yourself a J.C. Horn. Go get yourself. I can't remember his first name. I think it's like Sean Jackson on the Washington Commanders. Let me look real quick. William Jackson. There it is. William Jackson III. Go get yourself a William Jackson at the trade deadline. This team needs it. They can't go with Xavier Howard, and then eventually they're going to come back. Kader Kohu, Keon Cross, and Noah Benogany, Justin Bethel. You can't do that. So, the Dolphins need to make a move at the trade deadline. And they need a corner really badly. So, we'll see what happens. They got until next week to go get themselves a corner. So, but the final thing we're going to talk about, Dolphins this week, playing against the Detroit Lions. We're going to save most of it for the preview on Thursday night. And all I'm going to say is the Lions had a decent, okay start to the season. They looked like one of the best offenses in the NFC. They put up 35 points against Philly, 36 points against Washington in a win, 24 points against Minnesota. They put up 45 on the Seahawks and lost. That's a key thing. They have possibly the worst defense in the NFL. So I think we get a big bounce back game from Tua Tagovailoa this week with the rust that he had against the Steelers. I think Tua is going to have a huge game against the Lions on Sunday. We're going to talk more about that on Thursday night with the preview. So I'm getting on out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. Go ahead and check out the Steelers-Dolphins Sunday Night Football vlog and the Padres-Phillies Game 3 NLCS vlog as well. Comment down below your thoughts about the game this past Sunday against the Steelers. Everything we talked about. And or if you want, early thoughts on this game against the Lions this week. So hit the like button if you liked what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. At Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I've been posting a lot on there. At Conlon_Joseph. And guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow night for the AEW Dynamite review here on the Big Fight Field channel. Have a good one. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. We up. Peace.